And there's supposedly a hurricane brewing off the Atlantic coast.
Ooh, there we go. Interesting time.
It better be a sight to see when they're talking about the temperature and speed of the tornado with the ozone layer, the climate change.
Mm-hmm.
They're saying the F0, F1 it goes up by 20, the speed. Each one would go up.
Yep.
If I don't get those guys that chase them,
By
that
20?
seems kind of. If I see one of those, I'm going the other direction, and there's people driving out that go look at them and get closer, and I'm like, no. What are you getting out of this? Oh, you're on YouTube. That's great. Yeah, you know what? I can be on YouTube too, but I'm not going to go to the tornado.
West Frankfurt
all the way to your grave
was in the world record for that one tornado, 1920s, wasn't it, Roger?
Yeah, I believe so.
I think so.
Yeah, it was down in Marion, Illinois. The entire city got wiped out. It just went right through.
Wiped out.
Wow.
Destroyed it.
All the way to Evansville.
Yeah, it made it all the way to Evansville, Indiana from southern Illinois. So
killed millions.
So let me get back on task here, because if we don't, Robert's going to start talking conspiracy soon. So
I have a tornado story.
So we were.
Is there someone else on this call named Roger?
Yeah, that's me.
There's two Roger.
Yeah, Roger Hanson.
Okay, I apologize. I heard my name and.
Now,
okay. Thank you.
Now we were getting into MIT and how they did a study back to back up the.
Wait, the guy that's talking is Roger Hanson. He's the host. Roger Landry.
Now,
thank you.
The most.
Now, the researchers they analyzed whether AI could actually replace human workers at a competitive cost, and found that AI automation only makes financial sense in 23% of jobs. Now, in the other 77%, humans are still cheaper. So basically, these companies are firing cheap labor and replacing it with expensive labor, then telling shareholders it's innovation. But even that gets worse, okay? Uber just revealed that they burned through their entire 2026 AI budget in 4 months. Their CTO said that said basically that they're back to the drawing board because the budget that he thought he would need was blown already. Okay. Now what happened was that Uber,
because of all of the improvements that happened while they were putting that program together. He tripped and fell. You're right.
Now, what he said what happened is that Uber gave their engineers access to AI coding tools and encouraged them to use them as much as possible. They even built the internal leaderboards ranking engineers by how many AI tokens they consume.
This is like, did Microsoft Corporation do something similar?
Yeah.
Where they the sort of getting the developers to use their internal or Microsoft's artificial intelligence coding and large language model frameworks and trying to push that to such an extent that it just became senseless.
Well, what it was is they basically gamified their own budget crisis without
Those
realizing
tokens
it.
cost money, man. Those tokens are not cheap. It's like, who's spending the most money? The company's money. We're going to give you a prize. That's crazy.
So by March, the 9% of Uber's engineers were using AI tools monthly. 70% of all committed code was coming from AI. Now, the monthly API cost per engineer hit $500 to $2,000. One software engineer in Stockholm told the New York Times, "I probably spent more than my salary on Claude." and then a human being now costs less than the AI tool they used to do their job basically.
And then you get into the problem of relying on these tools and then not being able to review the code that these tools are producing.
Oh yeah, that's something I have. I'm not a coder myself, but this came up. We've talked about this before, and I remember Callum had brought it up in about how when the AI writes the code, it's more difficult for a human coder to maintain it. Something like that.
Yes.
So that makes it like sort of impenetrable because everything needs to be fixed eventually. And yeah, it's just very odd that and it seems to me that this is not a sustainable model. I mean, I am sure someone is profiting off of this in the short term, but eventually investors, I mean, it's going to affect the bottom line eventually. It doesn't now because it seems like a kind of a bubble.
It already is.
So
it already is, and you're right.
Yeah, but hey guys,
it'll have to change.
I have talked to people. For what I do, I have talked to people in 13 different countries, and they're all saying it's already happening.
So people are waking up.
So, these are all technical people, and they are AI aware, and they are AI leery.
Well, I think they're aware of the limitations. So much of it is hype. People are expecting
That's exactly
things
right.
that they can't do, and it's like I think a very useful tool. But
you're exactly right.
Having it do all the coding like that seems like it's great if you've got like a piece of Scotch tape you can put over something, but you don't want to make a wall of Scotch tape. I mean, actually, I used to work in theater, and we had there's this wonderful material called gaffer's tape, which is used on stage a lot. And we once built a wall of gaffer's tape. We had to block off a stairway, and the engineer said, "Get some gaffer's tape." We had cases of the stuff. We used like a half a case of gaffer's tape and built a wall of it, which I would not advise though as a regular thing. So it seems to be sort of like that. It might be good to do once in a while, but eventually people will wake up and just get like one of those little do not cross things.
Well, according to Morgan Stanley, they're saying that big tech has announced $740 billion in AI capital expenditures this year alone, and that's 69% more from 2025. But then you
people are making money.
But see, then you have the Yale Budget Lab that says there's no widespread data showing AI is actually displacing jobs or improving productivity at scale. So now, when it comes to that, I say just follow the money. Okay, you got companies that fire humans, then the stocks go up because of AI efficiency. And then those same companies spend more money on AI than they've saved on salaries.
Yeah, and the IRS, you look at that too.
Well, see, the money flows to NVIDIA. Anthropic is another one. You got OpenAI and then Microsoft.
Well, in a short term, though, because I think the way this works, and I'm no expert on the market, but whenever a company downsizes for any reason, there's an automatic, okay, they're going to save money, right? So it's just an automatic, ooh, the stocks are worth a little more. But it's a very temporary thing, and like you're saying, if you take whatever savings you have from this and then plow it into and then spend even more than that on the replacement, this is gonna tip the other way. And from what not Roger Hanson, but our new Roger was saying, people and these tech guys are very aware of this stuff too. And this isn't going to make it onto the mainstream, but they're going to be talking to each other about this.
Well, my thing is with this. We have a government, a covert government, that likes to spy on everything. Even corporate espionage is something that they do. And the thing is, they're taking bits and pieces and then making their own super whatever else somebody else comes out with, and that's gonna be some real Terminator, Skynet kind of stuff. That's where I just don't want to go there.
Yeah, but they got that wall for 1951 about all copywritten material. They can do whatever they wish with it.
They have the authority to freaking make it to where
they can black up your stuff.
Yeah.
Take it off the shelves and
no, not even off the shelves.
Well, patents is where that really mostly comes into play.
I think
copyright.
If you're worried about secret government technology and stuff, I will say that a lot of the stuff that's been revealed isn't necessarily any more advanced than what's going on in the open private sector. But Jacques Vallée pointed out something really good. He said, all these governments have all this secret stuff, but before something is made top secret, it wasn't. And if you go back far enough, you can see the basic patents, the things people were working on, and you can make a pretty good idea. And in fact, I think that they're like, Jane's Defense probably does stuff like that too, trying to figure out, what are the, this or that black project, where in fact, if you go back far enough, you see, they're working on this kind of ramjet design or this kind of alloy or something. So you can kind of put two and two together. You're not going to know the details, but you can figure. And it's the same thing with intelligence programs too, psyops, anything like that. The stuff they revealed that they did in World War II.
The thing is, though,
you hit the nail right on the head.
The thing is, though, a lot of people don't know this.
You hit the nail right on the head.
Hold on, but in the people don't know this. In America, whenever you file for a patent for an invention, it has to go through the NSA. They are part of the approval process for a patent because they determine whether your invention is good or bad for national security. Mm-hmm. So if they say something's bad, screw you. They don't have to do anything. They tell you can't make it. It's off. It's never going to go to market, and they develop it in private. Yeah,
they can
they do it.
Take it
the NSA has to buy over 6,000 patents.
Okay, I think we are stretching into fantasy world now.
No, they got that back in
I agree with Otto. I've had plenty of arguments with Nancy on this point. She believes that a lot of technology that the US military, government, whatever you want to call it, the men in black, have technologies that stretches us, the private sector, by I don't know, 20 years.
Oh, right. Secret bases on Mars, time control, and the thing is, if people did have that, I think we would notice it a little more. I mean, we'd have the Hannibal Mark 7 saucers coming down with Baltic crosses from their secret bases in Antarctica. If that was going to be like the movie Iron Sky. This sort of
Bob
stuff
is on another episode. Bob is on another episode. We will talk about
California wouldn't be California no more.
And all that when we talk about the Church of the Subgeniuses later.
Bob be praised.
That's right. So.
Dobbs willing.
The levels of technology, the levels of technology across all of the armed services, whether you're talking about Army, whether you're talking about Navy, whether you're talking about Marines, so on and so forth, what we see is 60% of what is available to those who rule the world, okay, those who run the governments, those who actually set up these wars to play to win. So what we're looking at right now, and I spent my entire life, I'm 71, working in the military or for the military. And what we see is basically about 70% of what actually exists. The capabilities that the United States and Russia and maybe even China have are far beyond what even I can say or even know. But what I am saying is what we are looking at is being used today in a fashion that is disarming society and rearming a government. So the question here is, what can we do about it?
If that's the point, if that's your argument,